And it's got a 925. This is silver.
KG and Ringy Quick Hitter. Spring Tour Recap. The 2025 Spring Tour was possibly the busiest yet, and it did not disappoint as KG and I continued to find some pretty incredible stuff with our Vortexes, or Vortices. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But anyway, equipped with the latest VX9 updates, we stormed the beaches and woods and lawns in search of stuff, as we are wont to do, and here are some of the highlights from the journey. First off, Steve surprised me with the very first 5x8 prototype coil for the Vortex, and after a year of listening to me whinge about it, he finally unveiled it when we landed in Rome, as if it were the mighty Excalibur sword, and as he opened up his yapper to mansplain that it was still being fine-tuned back in Texas, I snatched it rudely from his weak, soft grip like a ravenous, rabid raccoon, claiming it as my own for all of eternity. Although his face showed surprise bordering on mild shock, there was little resistance. Now armed with my favorite coil from the Garrett arsenal, I proceeded to smash out several sterling silver earrings, some weird coins, and a bunch of other cool stuff. By the way, we're working on a couple of quick hitters for the how-to and setup section at DIGGINTV.com in case you want to know exactly how KG and I are setting and running our VX9s. Along with that setup vid, there will also be one on the 5x8 coil itself. Why? Because I said so. But back to the smashing and finding and fun stuff. So after the Missouri Pro-Am, see, quick hitter, 96, we flew to Rome and then made our way to the other coast for the annual Garrett contest Italia. The most massive and awesome of beach hunts ever. Always a tour favorite. The battles were fierce. The victors were crowned. People danced in the streets. And there were large parties, and everything was under control at all times. After that madness, we did some more in-depth testing on freshwater, saltwater, and volcanic sand beaches with the Vortex and the Axiom.
Little earring.
Nice.
Silver-plated earring or something. Tiny little thing found with the brand new little Ripper coil. I got part of a ring, a little silver-plated pendant. This thing I just dug, it's a sterling silver 925 heart. And this, I think, is also sterling silver, and it's a little cat. Look at that, another earring. I have to say, I'm very excited to tell you about the 5x8 in one of the next videos, because it was indeed amazing. On the way back home, KG and I parted from the rest of Team Garrett in Dallas to head for Mississippi in the Soldiers Freedom Outdoors event in Meridian. It was the first SFO event we've done outside of Florida, and in spite of some sketchy weather, they managed to pull it off.
Until he realizes that his detective's still over here.
I know what you guys did.
Miniature man Gary Penna supplied some great artwork as usual that helped raise some funds for the vets. He also found a really cool Girl Scout pin in the free hunt, which beat out Mark, KG, and me for find of the day. I found a Wheatie, so deal with that, world. Before leaving the state, we met up with some of our favorite Mississippi treasure hunters, Lance and Deanna. She brought her husband to dinner again. I think he was some kind of high school football star or something. Anyway, as always, we had more than a few laughs with that crew. And then it was off to Iowa for detecting the heartland, which is always at the top of the list for Midwestern mayhem. They had a really cool spot on yet another scouting camp, and after firing up the Vortex, I dug my one and only scouting item for the day on literally the very first hole. So weird. I think this was my favorite natural find of the weekend, though, because I love exonumia and the cool and sometimes weird research that follows. Old Ford tractor. That'll be a fun one to look up. Anyway, there were a host of gold and silver rings and old coins found there in the natural hunts. Plenty of signals to keep everyone entertained. And as you probably know, the seated hunts were incredible as usual. There were medieval hammered silver and Roman coins mixed amongst the old 1800s silver that included trimes, V-nicks, barbers, and seated Liberty coinage. Pretty amazing. If you like winning detectors and NX5 shovels and silver coins and raffles and prizes and food, you should probably give this event a try. After the usual train wreck of an appearance on Josh Kimmel's Beyond Sight and Sound podcast, we made our way to East Moline, Illinois for the annual Swing Into Summer event. It was brutally hot like the rest of the country, but we soldiered through and had a ton of fun on the east bank of the mighty Mississippi. Together with Richard Kruckmeyer's generous bids and donations, and several different raffles with Gary Penna's incredible artworks, we managed to raise a pile of cash for Chuck Smalley's favorite charity there, which helps feed hungry kids in the area. And there were all kinds of other raffles and fun and seated hunts and food. It was amazing. One lucky guest went home with his Vortex, and one with an NX5. Oh, I almost forgot. Garretts Aussie contingent blew into town after raiding California's gold-encrusted hillsides, and we continued to work on some top-secret collaborative projects that will be sure to disappoint the general public in the near future. Well, I guess it's about time to wrap up this not-so-quick hitter. If you need a nectar fix, check out the next set of reels on Instagram and Facebook to see more finds from this spring. And if you need an even bigger fix, feel free to download the free True TV Plus app to your smart TV and binge watch all 22 episodes of Diggin' with KG and Ringy at your leisure. Now go find some treasure, or eat a medium chocolate sundae or something equally delicious. I'm gonna Ringy out.
Quick hitter.
All right, how do you pronounce that again?